Welcome to the Red Zone. An early start for our Friday Night Lights as the section championships continue at the Fargo Dome for our Minnesota high school football teams. 5 more champions being crowned in the Dome today. We start with Class AA, the undefeated Staples Motley Cardinals taking on the Cinderella story of this year's tournament, the Osakis Silver Streaks. The Silver Streaks looking to keep up their remarkable run against the top-seeded Cardinals, and they're off to a good start. 3rd and long for Osakis. Trenton Vanihus airing it out to Seth Stolick. He's going silver, streaking down the sideline all the way to that golden turf. Osakis taking an 8-0 lead after the 2-point conversion. Staples Motley going to respond with a big play of their own, though. Eli Rutten sends it over the middle of the field. Colby Tapp pulling down a contested ball, and he's still on his feet. This Cardinal flying away all the way to the end zone. Staples Motley cutting that lead to just 2 points. But Tapp's day isn't done just yet. The Cardinals driving all the way to the 1-yard line, gonna punch it in from there. Staples Motley grabbing their first lead of the day, and they're gonna hang on to that one, but it's gonna be tight, securing their ticket to the state tournament, a 36-30 win over Osakis. And into the Section 6A championship, defending champion Parkers Prairie and West Central area meeting for that crown. The Panthers strike first. Sneaky handoff to Isaac Ruckheim on the reverse. We find him eventually, but the defense does not. Ruckheim takes it to the house to give Parkers Prairie an early lead. The Knights responding with a long run of their own. Handoff on the sweep to Samuel Hansen. He's got a lot of blockers in front of him, and now some daylight. Knights make this a 2-point game after a failed 2-point conversion. Moving ahead to the second quarter now, Parkers Prairie with a 14-6 lead after a 2-point conversion. Now the kickoff scooped up by Tucker McGee. If we're showing you the kickoff, that probably means one thing. Finds an opening, and it looks like he's off to the races, but there's one man to beat. Joseph Johnson with a desperation dive hits the foot, saving the touchdown. And Parkers Prairie repeating as Section 4 champs, 42-12, the final from the Fargo Dome. I wanted to put that play in there because I know every single coach that sees that is going to show it to his team and be like, that's why you don't give up on the play.
That's right.
Because my dad would do the same thing to me.
That was wild.
That was
I literally
great.
gasped. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I know it's good. If I make you gasp.
If I get a reaction.
Yeah, then I know it's good.